You don't become dangerous the day you learn how to attack. You become dangerous the day you stop being naive. Most people move through life believing intelligence is about knowledge, talent, or hard work. They think being smart means speaking well, arguing well, or having more information than others. But intelligence in power structures is not measured by how much you know. It is measured by how little others can predict you. It is measured by how well you understand motives beneath words, incentives beneath promises, fear beneath confidence. And this is where Machiavelli separates the harmless from the dangerous. Because dangerous intelligence is not loud. It does not announce itself. It does not need validation. It observes quietly, calculates patiently, and acts only when the position is secure. The first illusion you were taught is that goodness protects you, that if you are honest, transparent, and consistent, the world will respond in kind. That loyalty guarantees loyalty. That fairness creates fairness. That integrity automatically produces respect. This belief feels moral. It feels mature. It feels noble. And in personal relationships built on shared values, it can work. But in competitive environments, in politics, business, leadership, influence, status games, morality without leverage is fragile. Machiavelli understood something most people avoid admitting. Systems reward those who understand incentives, not those who cling to ideals blindly. Power does not ask who is most virtuous. Power asks who is most stable under pressure, who is most useful, who is most difficult to remove. If you want to become dangerously smart, you must learn 8 ruthless lessons. Not ruthless in cruelty, ruthless in clarity, ruthless in realism, ruthless in refusing to sacrifice position for emotional comfort. Lesson 1. People are driven by interest before loyalty. You want to believe loyalty is sacred, that if you help someone rise, they will always remember. That if you support someone in weakness, they will protect you in strength. But loyalty built purely on emotion collapses under pressure. Loyalty that survives is tied to aligned interests, shared incentives, mutual advantage. When advantage shifts, loyalty shifts. Not always maliciously, often quietly. Machiavelli observed rulers who placed blind trust in those who depended on them. The moment those dependents gained enough strength, dependence turned into ambition. And ambition does not bow to gratitude. It bows to opportunity. If you become dangerously smart, you stop asking, "Does this person like me?" And you start asking, "Is it in this person's interest to protect this alliance?" That shift alone makes you less vulnerable, because you no longer interpret betrayal as shock. You see it as incentive change. Lesson 2. Reputation is more powerful than truth. Truth is internal. Reputation is external. And in social systems, perception shapes reality faster than facts. If 10 people believe you are unstable, your stability will not matter. If 10 people believe you are powerful, your silence becomes authority. This is not about manipulation. It is about understanding narrative. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must appear merciful, faithful, humane, religious, upright. But be prepared to act against these qualities when survival requires it. Many misunderstand this as hypocrisy. It is not hypocrisy. It is recognition that appearance governs trust before evidence does. If you are dangerously smart, you guard your reputation like territory. You do not engage in every rumor. You do not defend yourself emotionally in public. You address serious threats once, calmly, and then you move on. You understand that repetition signals insecurity. Certainty speaks once. Most people panic when misrepresented. They rush to explain, to clarify, to restore fairness. In doing so, they elevate the accusation. Dangerous intelligence asks, does responding amplify or suffocate this narrative? Sometimes silence is not weakness. It is suffocation of noise. Lesson 3. Control your reactions, or someone else will. Emotional impulse is the easiest entry point for manipulation. When someone knows what angers you, they can provoke you. When they know what flatters you, they can steer you. When they know what scares you, they can pressure you. Machiavelli survived chaotic courts not by overpowering opponents physically, but by mastering emotional restraint. He did not react to every insult. He did not expose frustration. He did not reveal fear. Because visible reaction gives information. Information gives leverage. If you want to be dangerously smart, train yourself to pause before responding. When challenged publicly, lower your tone instead of raising it. When insulted, ask whether engagement benefits you structurally. When praised, do not let it alter your decisions. Emotional stability is rare, and rare traits create psychological weight. People test limits unconsciously. They apply small pressure and watch your response. If you react intensely, they learn how to move you. If you remain composed, they recalibrate. Recalibration is power. Lesson 4. Access must be regulated. You were told that openness builds trust, that vulnerability builds connection, and in close bonds that is true. But in hierarchical systems, unrestricted access weakens position. If everyone can reach you at any time, question you at any time, demand explanations at any time, you are not leading. You are reporting. Dangerous intelligence understands scarcity, not artificial coldness. Controlled availability. When your time, attention, and emotional access are selective, they increase in value. When they are unlimited, they are taken for granted. Machiavelli warned rulers about over-familiarity. Familiarity reduces distance. Distance maintains authority. You can be warm without being accessible to all. You can be kind without being transparent about strategy. You can be ethical without revealing your entire internal reasoning. Not everyone deserves access to your doubts, fears, long-term plans, or insecurities. Vulnerability without evaluation is exposure, and exposure creates leverage for others. Lesson 5. Fairness without enforcement invites exploitation. This is uncomfortable. You want to believe that if you treat people fairly, they will reciprocate, but fairness without consequence is optional. If someone can cross you without cost, they will test again. If someone can disrespect your time without losing access, they will repeat it. Consequence does not require rage. It requires certainty, a calm reduction of access, a firm boundary, a strategic repositioning. The lion does not announce consequences. Its presence implies them. Machiavelli argued that it is better to be feared than loved if one cannot be both. He was not promoting cruelty. He was identifying stability. Love fluctuates. Fear rooted in consequence stabilizes behavior. If there is no structural cost to undermining you, you are tolerated, not respected. Dangerous intelligence ensures that boundaries have weight. Not emotional drama, structural weight. Lesson 6. Never reveal your full position prematurely. Transparency is praised culturally, but transparency without leverage is strategic suicide. If competitors know your timeline, they delay you. If rivals know your ambition, they undermine quietly. If opponents know your weaknesses, they apply pressure precisely. Information is currency, and most people overspend it because they want to appear honest. Honesty does not require total disclosure. It requires alignment between words and actions. You can be truthful without being strategically naked. Machiavelli observed that leaders who showed their hand too early lost initiative. Timing is dominance. The person who controls the rhythm controls the outcome. Silence creates tension. Tension creates pressure. And the one who tolerates pressure longer dictates pace. Lesson 7. Hierarchy exists whether you acknowledge it or not. Every room has invisible ranking. Influence, attention, decision-making weight. If you constantly seek consensus before acting, you lower your rank. Leadership is not about volume, it is about direction. Dangerously smart individuals understand that over-consulting weakens authority. They gather information privately. They decide firmly. They communicate clearly. and then they let alignment follow. Indecision invites takeover. Over-explanation invites doubt. Over-apology invites testing. Hierarchy is not about ego, it is about structure. If you refuse to occupy space, someone else will. Lesson 8. Discipline is more powerful than talent. You fear becoming ruthless because you associate ruthlessness with cruelty. But Machiavelli's ruthlessness was realism. It was refusal to sacrifice survival for image. It was discipline of impulse, discipline of speech, discipline of access, discipline of reaction. Most people sabotage themselves not through lack of intelligence, but through lack of control. They speak too quickly, trust too easily, forgive too early, reveal too much, react too emotionally. Dangerous intelligence is controlled intelligence. You do not downplay your ambition to protect others' insecurity. You do not shrink your presence to appear safe. You do not overcompromise to maintain fragile peace. Peace built on weakness collapses. Peace built on strength endures. Now pause and ask yourself something uncomfortable. Where have you been playing harmless in environments that reward awareness? Where have you assumed fairness in systems driven by leverage? Where have you offered loyalty without evaluating incentives? The world does not reward the most virtuous consistently. It rewards the most stable under pressure. And if this perspective unsettles you, it means illusion is dissolving. Because the real danger of naivety is not that you lose once. It is that you train others to expect softness from you. And expectation becomes your cage. The dangerously smart are not paranoid. They are observant. They are not cruel. They are controlled. They are not manipulative. They are strategic. They understand that morality guided by strategy is durable. Morality without leverage is fragile. And this is only the beginning. Part 2. Now we go deeper. Because knowing these lessons intellectually is not enough. The real shift happens when you apply them internally. Most people operate from emotional default. They want to be seen as good, as reasonable, as understanding, as fair, and so they make decisions based on short-term emotional harmony rather than long-term structural position. Dangerous intelligence sacrifices short-term comfort for long-term stability. Consider negotiation. When you rush to explain your limits to appear transparent, you surrender leverage. When you fill silence because tension feels uncomfortable, you lose rhythm. The one who controls rhythm controls negotiation. Silence is not emptiness, it is pressure. When you can sit in silence without rushing to justify, others feel compelled to move. Movement reveals information. Information creates advantage. Now consider betrayal again. Betrayal rarely begins with attack. It begins with access. You gave someone strategic insight because you believed in shared values. You assumed shared values guaranteed shared restraint. But ambition evolves. Interest shifts. And if you have not structured incentives carefully, you become exposed. Dangerous intelligence evaluates loyalty under pressure, not in comfort. Watch how someone behaves when you say no. Watch how they act when you are absent. Watch how they respond when power shifts. Alignment under pressure reveals truth. Let's address emotional warfare. Some people misinterpret you intentionally. They exaggerate tone. They question motives publicly. Why? Because they want you defensive. Defensive people leak information. And information is leverage. If someone can push you into explanation repeatedly, they control the frame. And whoever controls the frame controls perception. Perception builds narrative. Narrative builds reputation. Reputation builds power. The dangerously smart do not rush into frame battles. They ask, who benefits from this engagement? Sometimes disengagement is dominance. Now we confront ambition. You soften your goals so others feel comfortable. You downplay success so others feel secure. You shrink your voice so you do not appear threatening. That is fairness turned inward, and it limits you. You are not responsible for managing everyone's insecurity. Ambition requires discipline, not arrogance. not noise. Discipline. Discipline to speak less. Discipline to reveal less. Discipline to react less. When you master discipline, something subtle changes. People pause before crossing you. They measure tone. They reconsider assumptions. That hesitation is recalibration. Recalibration means you now occupy space differently. This is not about domination. It is about psychological gravity. Gravity pulls influence without chasing it. Now confront your deepest fear, becoming someone you dislike. Awareness of strategy does not remove empathy. It removes illusion. You can still be generous, still be kind, still be ethical, but you choose those moments. You do not default to them blindly. Strategic fairness is powerful. Automatic fairness is exploitable. There is a difference. If someone disrespects you once, address it calmly. If they repeat it, reduce access. If they escalate, enforce consequence. No rage, no theatrics, just certainty. Certainty intimidates more than anger. The lion does not explain its boundaries. Its stillness is enough. Machiavelli's ultimate lesson was realism. He understood that people are driven by interest, pride, fear, ambition. He understood that morality shifts under pressure. He understood that survival requires awareness of human nature, not denial of it. So he built leverage. Control your reactions. Control your access. Control your narrative. Control your timing. Control your disclosures. Control your impulses. Because impulse is what keeps you harmless in competitive systems. Once you control impulse, you choose strategy. Choice is power. Power protects freedom. Freedom allows peace. Peace, built on strength, endures. If this sharpened your perspective, stay with this channel. We break down power, psychology, hierarchy, and strategy with clarity, not fantasy. Comment below. Which of these lessons challenged you most? And share this with someone who is intelligent, but still playing harmless in a world that rewards awareness. Because intelligence without strategy is potential. But intelligence with discipline is dangerous.